Let's move on to our AFC Wild Card live bet stream on Sunday night. I can already taste the Kraken. I abstain from Kraken on all the days when I don't have a live bet stream. I can hammer it for our live bet streams. Ravens 10-7, 5-4 on the road at Cincinnati Bengals 12-4, 6-1 at home. Paycor Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio, 37 Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy, 6 miles per hour is the wind. Really no weather issues except for the Niners game on Saturday. Cincinnati opening up at -6.5. They're now at -7. From a totals perspective, opened up at 43.5, now at 42.5. And cash-wise here, 19% of the tickets on Baltimore and 27% of the cash. 37% of the tickets on the under, but 96% of the cash. I know it's early, but those are the numbers. These teams come in off facing each other in Week 18. It was a 27-16 win for the Bengals at home. Bengals won 8 straight. Of course, just like in the Dolphins game, the biggest question in this game is who will be at quarterback for the underdogs. Lamar Jackson has missed the last 5 weeks with a knee injury. Harbaugh did not indicate if Jackson would be on the field tomorrow when practice resumes. Baltimore has failed to score more than 17 points in any game without Jackson. Tyler Huntley was officially ruled out of Sunday's game due to shoulder and wrist injuries. Anthony Brown was 19-44 for 286 yards, 2 picks in his first career start. Isaiah Likely caught 8 for 103. Watkins caught 2 for 79. Kenyon Drake ran 16 times for 60 yards and a touchdown. Gus Edwards left the game in the second quarter with a head injury. He is in concussion protocol. Mark Andrews and J.K. Dobbins were inactive for the game. They'll be good to go this week. The defense was strong. They held the Bengals to 257 total yards, but the Bengals were not going to open up their playbook knowing that they were going to play this team again in 7 days' time. They held the Bengals to 5-15 on third down, 1-3 in the red zone, 2 sacks, 6 quarterback hits. The Ravens were a top 5 rush defense by EPA per play, top 5 defense overall by EPA per play in the second half. Their injuries to Rashad Bateman and Devin Duvernay, hurt them. And then losing Lamar Jackson, we don't know what kind of offense we are going to get, even if Lamar Jackson comes back. And if he comes back and this goes under a touchdown, I want the Bengals. And I guess I could have got them at the 6.5 here before it moved to 7. It was available, but I did today move on Cincinnati Bengals futures. I moved on them at plus 400 to win the AFC and at plus 750 to win the Super Bowl. The Bengals didn't have much urgency in this game. They didn't need it. Burrow was 25-42 for 215 yards and a touchdown. Jamar Chase caught 8 for 86 and a touchdown. Boyd 5 for 51. Joe Mixon ran 11 times for just 27 yards. He doesn't look very good. I know he had that one spectacular game, but it was just that one game, really. He caught 5 passes for 41 yards. He's still dangerous out of the backfield. Cincinnati's offense is dangerous. Since week 10, 4th in EPA per play efficiency. Overall, 4th in yards per drive, 6th in points per drive. And it looked like right around that time Mixon went for 5 touchdowns or 6, whatever he did that day, that they'd fix their running game, but it's regressed. The defense didn't have to do much this time. Anthony Brown, 4 sacks, 7 quarterback hits. Hilton and Bates had interceptions. In the second half of the season, with DJ Reader back, this was a top 5 defense. Now they lost Alex Kappa, their left guard, to an ankle injury, and it looks significant. There's people who are saying that he's out this week. There's people who are saying he's out for the entire playoffs. He's been the best offensive lineman for the Bengals. They already lost Lyle Collins for this season. They have Max Sharping expected to fill in, and it's a big, big loss. If Alex Kappa cannot come back for the rest of the playoffs, we'll have a better idea tomorrow when we get the injury report. Take it away for us here, Andy. Ravens, Bengals.
I think the line was shaded towards Lamar not playing anyway, and congrats to anyone who grabbed like 5.5s early. A smaller bet, but I did play some 7 today. Couple different sources again, some people that have never steered me wrong, saying no Lamar. Huntley is up in the air, but he has multiple injuries. I'm leaning probably like 60-40 towards Anthony Brown. Again, that's just gut feeling because of the injuries. He's not good at football at all. Like, it's crazy that, and again, if Tua plays, it won't be an issue. But imagine having playoffs where Anthony Brown and Skylar Thompson started football games. I guess Joe Webb started a playoff game, so whatever. So this is a Cincy team. I do not think, like you said, you alluded to it perfectly. I don't think we saw the best of their offense last week, especially once they grabbed a lead. Then it's let's get vanilla. Let's not put anything on film. Let's not get too wild with it. This offense looked scary in those first couple drives before the Bills game ended up calling off with the with the horrific injury there. Like this offense looked like it was ready to go, and they were going to put up some big numbers. I really do think Cincinnati was going to win that game, maybe by margin if it did. If we had played that out all the way. So this is a nice spot for Cincinnati, regardless. I think it's a good matchup for them. The Kappa thing sucks. I do not have Kappa playing this week. I can't think of Schlapping or Shapling or Shapping. It filled in okay. It's something that Burrow's just dealt with it. He hasn't had a good offensive line the whole time he's been an NFL player. So I guess at this point he's used to it, and he has a bunch of good receivers. They don't have the defense. Well, the defense has played well if you split this out. Over the past 6 weeks, they've been a bottom 10 team in drop back per EPA, and they've played some decent quarterbacks in that spot. So it's tough to give them too much grief, but the Ravens defense hasn't been overall great and hasn't been great versus the past. But yeah, I have the Bengals winning by 10 on average in this one. If it's going to be Anthony Brown. So, and another one too, this is the same thing I mentioned with Tua. If it comes out tomorrow, Lamar's not practicing for the 35th fucking straight day, you might see more Cincinnati steam. At a 7.5, it's another, like every one of these games can end up. I'm going to have the biggest goddamn playoff round robin teaser of Super Wild Card weekend. I might put all the games in this eventually if they all end up in these zones. So another good teaser spot if this is sitting at 7.5 and you missed the boat. But I played the 7.
Do you want to make the 7 official right now for our record keeping?
Official. If it's still available everywhere, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, it is definitely. All right, well let's grab for you. We've done this a few times this year, in around the middle of the season where we were banking on certain quarterbacks with injuries, and it kind of blew up in my face, which makes me hesitant. But if Lamar's not in, then I think the Bengals smash here. And it's no disrespect to Huntley. It's just the Bengals are a very good team, and they're at home, and they're dangerous, and they're rested. Well, I can get you -7, -102 at 5 dimes.
Take it.
God, I guess I should bet this tonight.
Yeah, it's a lot versus a divisional foe, as Spencer is pointing out. But man, if it's Anthony Brown, this is 10. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't get up quite that high, but it moves into that 9.5 spot.
And if it's Huntley, it's 7.5.
I think it does move up a little, but not as much. Huntley has been, better than Brown. And honestly, at this point, maybe the market wouldn't agree, but I'd almost rather have Huntley than Lamar Jackson, who hasn't practiced in 6 weeks. I'm not sure how he looks. And I think we might have seen the last of him with that Roquan signing and how he's been treating the team and some of the stuff behind the scenes. I think it might be the last of him in Baltimore.
What happens with this total?
I think the total probably drops down a little, but it's still low. It's not going to cross 40. You might see a drop a point.
It's 41.5 now at Bookmaker and Bet Chris. 42.5 at Pinnacle and Heritage.
Yeah, if Baltimore gets to 21, it's 7 Tucker field goals, I suppose.
Wow, Papa Call says 1 unit on the 5.5. We'll add a half unit on the 7.
Yeah. Some people on Sunday were grabbing those 5.5s. It was a really nice trip. I feel like we say this every week with Papa Calls. He's always got a good early number.
He sure does. A sharp.
And I can vouch for him. He's in those Sunday deep dive chats, and he's the one grabbing them. So
he does a great job at that, without a doubt. Papa Calls. Okay, and Skydragon says Huntley will be bland but play clean football. Baltimore D can hang up matchup wise.
I disagree a little with Baltimore's defense. Secondary wise against this many good receivers, Again, I don't think we saw the best of Cincinnati last week. I think they could have hung a 40 on them. They kept getting turnovers. They just kind of hung on to the lead. And yeah, I think Baltimore, if they have anything like they had last week with multiple turnovers again, it could be an ugly one.
Do you think that anybody watching this show or me even should think about waiting to hear, or as soon as we hear he didn't practice tomorrow, that's going to move to 7.5?
Yeah, pick out your slowest book. Everybody's got a local that moves a little slower.
Harold Williams says Bengals easy. Spanny Pennybomb says who in the Ravens secondary is stopping anyone? Says Chase could have 200 if he wanted. All right, so we have Andy on the Bengals -7.
I think Mixon has a shitty game. I think the Bengals still don't run the ball well.
They don't. They look like they might have changed that around a little bit there. Maybe we see more P. Ryan.
Yeah.
I want to get involved here. I want to get involved. And Dennis, I feel like, can you remind me in the chat? I think you were saying that, a 7.5 with Huntley, you would like to be on the Ravens. Can you hit me with that in the chat? Help me make my decision, or maybe hesitate a little bit. That is your Sunday nighter. That's our live bet stream on Sunday night.